Debbie and her children talking shite. Debbie and her children talking absolute shite.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Debbie and her children talking absolute shite. This week we are joined by the usual I don't know what you call them, shiters.
Suspects.
We should
Charming.
come up with a nickname. But
Debbie's
yeah,
little nuggets.
everyone want to introduce themselves?
Winnings.
Let's do that. So first of all, we have Craig.
Hello, I'm Craig.
All after Jack. Then we have Donna.
Oi, oi, Sabloy.
Okay, and then we have Steve-O.
Hey guys.
His usual, hey guys, he's trademarked that, by the way. And then you have more, Andrew, and then you have Debbie.
Hello, everyone.
I'm gonna read this one out from somebody who calls himself Henry Buttplug 124, who lives in hang on, what does this say? So lives in Glasgow. So
Hurry up and make it up.
It's not made up, and that's not very fair on Henry, is it, to say that? So Henry said, Debbie, is it true in 1997 when Princess Diana died, on the same day you were in hospital having a rib removed so you could blow a raspberry on your own belly?
Wow.
I mean, to do that on the day that Princess Diana died is pretty low anyway, even for you. Secondly, when you did it, did you manage to blow yourself a raspberry on the belly? Thirdly, was it worth it?
Wow. I mean, the depths of depravity you're prepared to go to get a laugh is ridiculous. And I'm not even going to
Well, I could say the same to you.
These aren't very good. These are not real questions. And I know 1000% you are making these up.
But did you blow a raspberry or not?
Craig, look, he's just making things up. And I want to meet Henry Buttplug.
Wow,
Whoa. Okay, well, you haven't denied the story, so we're just gonna.
I'm denying it. What ridiculous children!
I didn't quite hear that. Did anyone else?
No. Yeah. No. Brilliant. That's it. All sit together.
We've always wondered why you have a slightly funny walk, and it's obviously because you removed your rib in 1997. Okay. Right. So let's call the Hat of Destiny into play and pick a theme for week 4. What's everyone? What kind of theme does everyone want?
Something nice.
I want stories about me.
Here we go. Right. Pull it out. Pull
Pull
it
it out.
Pull it out. Okay. So this week we are talking about animals.
A friend of mine had a chinchilla called HP for obvious reasons, and they're not meant to like change very much. And she took her chinchilla in one summer. She took it out into the garden in its cage, and because they don't like change, it spontaneously combusted, and there was bits of it hanging all over her rose bush. That's true.
Why was the chinchilla called HP?
Because you used to buy things on credit back in the day. It was called hire purchase. So she had borrowed the money to buy the chinchilla. So she called it HP.
I was thinking of HP sauce.
No, it wasn't after that. No, well, it looked like that in the end, but no, it wasn't about that. No.
Wow.
Why did it spontaneously combust? Was that because it got too hot or something?
Apparently, they don't like to be moved out of their environment. And she took it straight out into the garden in its cage, and they don't like change apparently, and it spontaneously combusted.
Wow. Okay. So, did she ever have any other pets, or was she allowed any other pets, or?
No, she had to take time off work. She was so distraught. She was like really, really upset about it. And every time she went out in the garden, like over the next week or so, she kept finding little bits of it on the rose bush and the flowers and that. It was horrible. Yeah, she was really upset.
Oh.
Where were the bollocks? Right, so me and Steve was on this job as well. So we used to work for people who were nuts, and they had alpacas for pets. And one day, I think Steve, no. So there's kind of two stories on this. So there was one time when I first started walking out, I was painting the house with a guy called Bob, or maybe not Bob, who knows? So he says he needs to trim the chicken coop. The chicken coop is in the next field where the alpacas are, but it's all netted off and fenced off, so they can't get in. He's had to go and trim that, and he was obviously from Devon, and I was on the top scaffold, so I could see the whole field from over the trees. And I hear, even though he's very far away, he goes, "Fuck off!" And I looked round because I obviously wondered what he's swearing at. I see Bob, this little bald man, his little legs running, and there was a stream halfway through the field. The chicken coop was on the other stream. He's gone to jump over the stream, slipped, and landed face first in the river. And he came back, and the front half of him was soaking wet. And I asked him what was wrong. He went, Bob, why are you wet on your front? He was like, or he slipped, didn't I, Bill? No, he didn't say anything else. And with the same alpacas, Steve had left the gate open one time, and Paul had given Steve a bit of guttering. My job was to open the gate to the field, and with the long piece of guttering, they were going to sort of build a tunnel so it could run in, and it all funneled into me, little old me on the gate. I had no room to move. There was a tree line on one side, and the other side was a load of stinging nettles. So Paul has bopped this alpaca on the nose with a guttering. There's a light piece of plastic. It didn't hurt it. Just sort of like said, you should go this way. And obviously it channeled into me. And from about 5 meters away, this massive alpaca turned around, charged at me with his, like the gun that they have. And I had to dive into sting nettles to get away from it.
Oh, lots of alpaca stories, Bill.
I'll pack my bags and go after this.
Oh, God.
So, Stephen, I know you used to keep. Did you used to keep a lizard, or do you still have a lizard?
No, the lizard died.
I did not know that, and I can only apologize. That sounds. What did it die of? Do you know? Depression.
The smell.
The smell.
Well, that's not really a story. Let me tell you a proper story then. So I was on the moors.
Just burying bodies.
God almighty.
I was on the moors and I was stoned. It was really misty everywhere. When I've had a smoke, I don't handle stressful situations very well, and I sort of turn into like the opposite. So anyway, I was walking up this hill. There was mist everywhere, and quite far away, I spotted a big black mass, and I was convinced that I'd seen the Dartmoor Beast. I'm sure it was the Dartmoor Beast, and it was huge, it was big, it was hairy, it was jet black. I went to take a step, and I was like, no, I don't know about that. Anyway, so that happened, and because it'd been lightly raining, I sort of shit my pants a little bit, so I started sprinting down the hill, but I was slipping everywhere. And I was like falling over and stuff, and I turned behind me to have a look, and it was a horse. The horse's head popped up. But, I was pretty sure I'd seen the Dartmoor Beast.
Okay, so years ago, I used to own 2 bubble-eye fish called Sid and Nancy. One day, Nancy's eyeball fell out for some tragic reason, and Sid could smell the eyeball, like could smell the blood, so he kept trying to nibble her, and I thought, this is really cruel. It's like swimming around with one eye. I better do something with it. So I took it outside and I put it down the drain, and it swam away outside, and it went, and my son was really upset and all that, and I said, well, never mind, Anyway, I ran a bath an hour later, got in the bath, and I look up, and the fish towel is hanging out of the plug of the bath, like the bit up top, the drainer bit.
The overflow bit.
Towel is hanging. The overflow, yeah. The fish's towel is hanging out. It's gone from outside into the bath.
Was it alive, Donna?
I don't know. It weren't. No.
Oh, God.
Did you notice when you was in the bath? Was the fish in the bath with you?
Well, it could have easily. It was touching the bubbles. I was like, Jesus Christ! Obviously, I got out of the bath and just screamed for a while. Yeah.
She didn't realise at first because there normally is a fishy smell when Donna has a
right. That's getting fucked out. Don't you dare put that in. That's not happening.
Definitely putting that in. Talking about pets. Has anyone got any stories about their pets over the years? I remember that one time we drove up to Liverpool to collect what I thought was a dog. Actually turned out to be a horse. It was huge. What breed was it?
Oh, that was the giant schnauzer, wasn't it? Dog.
That was the worst. Yeah, I was in the car with you when we did that. It was a complete nightmare. The dog was so big and the car was so small. We just sat in a tiny car with this giant schnauzer dog we'd never met before for the whole journey. And it was hours away because it was all the way from Liverpool or somewhere, wasn't it?
It was Liverpool, yeah.
It was, yeah.
So we brought it back home, and I don't know whether it was because of my hormones at the time, being 13 or whatnot. But this dog would not leave me alone. So every time I used to take it for a walk, it would chase and chase and chase me. And as I say, this thing was like 8 foot tall. It was massive. But yeah, and then I think what happened to that dog in the end? You know,
we gave it to some sort of there was a rescue centre for giant schnauzers, and we gave it to them because the dog was it was when I was on my own with it. It was really hard to get it. It wouldn't take any notice of what I said, and I had 2 babies. And at one point, Billy was a baby at the time, and he was crying up the stairs, and this dog was so big I couldn't move it if I needed to, and he just laid in front of the living room door, and I couldn't get out to get to the baby, and it just freaked me out. So in the end, I found half a custard cream stuffed down on the sofa, and I threw it out, and he moved. But it just scared me so much. I said, no, we can't keep this dog. And lovely dog. But I remember every time we took it for a walk, Andrew, it used to just chase you, didn't it?
I know.
It just couldn't leave you alone. Yeah.
I used to run screaming.
All right. So once upon a time, Mother used to have some rabbits, right? Whenever they were out in the garden, and whenever they'd escape, should I be around, obviously it would be my job to go and catch them. Lucky old me. So anyway, these rabbits actually quite big, or one of them was quite big. And so this one time, the rabbits have got out. What are we going to do? And so I went out and thought, right, I'm going to get the bloody rabbit then. So I chased this rabbit around the garden like an idiot. And then I grabbed it, and it decided to like run its back legs, and they were just like ripping into my t-shirt. And there was like bits of t-shirt going everywhere, and it like scratched my chest. The roots of the cold of my shirt. So I threw it in the little rabbit call center or wherever they go, in the little rabbit hut, whatever, pick a winner. And then I come inside, I was all like really annoyed and everything. It's like, oh, bloody rabbits. Actually might have said a different word to bloody rabbits. Might have said something else. I was that angry. And then I don't know, you lot were all giggling, but I was flipping out. And then the doorbell rings. So I'm like, right, who's that then? Sure, okay, let's open the door, shall we? And there's this woman standing there, and she's from like, I don't know, it's like Avon, but for some reason she would talk about like pants and stuff. Like she said that, oh, well, we do have a range of men's pants. I was like, okay, yeah, come on in and sit down. And I had my shirt was all ripped, my chest.
What, wasn't your nipple hanging out?
Blood. Oh, yeah, my left nipple was hanging out. There was blood on me, and I was like, yeah, come on in, sit down. Let's talk about that, shall we?
Right.
Yes. Yes. It's underwear. Excellent. Like a weave. Love it. Fantastic. Right then. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch. And off she went out the door.
I have a couple of questions about that. Do you think that when she opened the door, she saw your nipple and started? That's why she started talking about underwear and stuff.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause I've
know
got a
what
nipple winking at me. This guy needs some new clothes.
Haven't you got a nipple chain?
No, I've never had a nipple chain in my life. You're confusing me with
you
someone
have-
who has got one.
Craig's 2 left nipples were on show.
Yeah,
We could probably do a whole show on nipples.
we could.
Well, let's not do that. Those rabbits, Craig, were actually called Dr. Evil and Austin Powers. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And those 2 rabbits, we had bought them from this woman in a local village that had a lot of baby rabbits, and we picked 2 out. And she definitely did not give us the 2 we picked out. And those rabbits, one of them grew massive and the other one didn't. And the smaller one, when I used to go out and feed them in the morning, it used to keep falling over. Anyway, in the end, I took it to the vet and we got into the waiting room. And the nurse came out because they take your animal name, the pet that you've gone with, and they shouted out, Dr. Evil. And everyone looked at me and I had to stand up and take the rabbit in to see the vet. And he told me that the rabbit was actually, it had been born brain damaged and it had something, and they had to put it down. It was quite sad, actually. But yeah, it was, I remember those rabbits.
So when we lived in our old flat, we used to have a couple of pet cats, and one of these cats was called Cedric. It was a big fat cat, and one day I just couldn't see him anywhere in the house. And these are indoor cats; they never go outside. So I started looking. I checked every room, and I actually couldn't find him. I started to freak out. I was like, "Oh no, he's escaped or something's happened to him." I turned the whole house upside down. I swear, everywhere, and I couldn't see him. So I started to freak out, and then there's a knock at the door. And I opened the door, and there's this woman who I didn't really know very well. She lived like 3 floors up, and she had this cat, and it was our cat Cedric. And she goes, "Is this your cat?" I said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy. Yes, there he is. Oh, fantastic. He's been missing for hours. Thank you so much. Where was he?" And she said, "Oh, I just found him like wandering out and about, like out on the side of the building." So I was like, "Oh, well, I don't know how he did that. Must have left the window open, right?" So I brought him inside, put him down, went to go make a cup of tea. I was like, "All right, Cedric, mate, where are you?" Couldn't see this cat. I just put it in the living room, started looking around, and suddenly I noticed that all of the other pets, the dog and the other cat, were like all on the opposite side of the room, like growling at the corner. And so I went to look in the corner under this table, and there's Cedric the cat. But I started to look at it, and I was like, it's funny the other pets don't like him. They normally get along. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, actually, that's not exactly Cedric, is it? It's the same kind of colour cat, but it's not my fucking cat. It's not my cat at all. So then I was like, bloody hell, I've lost the cat, and I've got a mystery cat that doesn't belong to me. It looks like the other cat. So then I was just trying to get the other pets out of the way. I managed to pick this cat up, and it was like going. At that point, I knew it was wrong. I knew it wasn't our cat. Should have studied it closely. So anyway, now I'm holding this cat that doesn't like me. So now I'm like, right, it's the woman from 3 flights upstairs. So I run upstairs and I knock on her door. I'm like, "Hi, you give me this cat," and I said it was mine. It's actually not my cat at all. It just looks a lot like it. I don't know whose cat it is, but it actually isn't my cat. I'm really sorry I made a mistake there. It looked like my cat. So I gave her this cat and went leaping down the stairs. Just left her with the cat. And I run into my house. So I was like, "So where is my cat?" And I walked into the back living room, and there's that cat just sitting on the window ledge behind the curtain, just looks at me and goes, "Meow."
I've got one more story about an Alsatian dog we used to have called Lucy.
Ah.
Oh, we used to hang around at the back gate constantly.
Like Mum did.
She was really lovely, but she was a bit daft, and she was quite hyper and
horny.
Yeah, she did.
Horny. Oh my God, she didn't stop. She was always
She
on the
did-
cushion at the back garden at the gate.
Yeah, she did used to try and have sex with one of the great big giant teddy bear we had as well behind the sofa. But anyway,
She had sex with me once.
stop it. She was always chasing her tail and spinning round and round and round and quite nervous and blah, blah. And she did also used to eat her own poo, which wasn't nice. And at one point she kept really scratching, and I thought maybe she had fleas or something. So I took her to the vet, and we got into the waiting room, and it was this linoleum flooring, and she was sitting there, and she started chasing her tail round and round and round, and everyone was looking at her because she was quite big and she was getting faster, and all the other dogs were quite well behaved. She got faster and faster, spinning around, and I couldn't try and calm her down. And all of a sudden she did this massive blow off, and then she just sat down and looked at everyone.
Can I just say, going to a vet's and your dog farting and you blaming it on the dog is really low. That's the lowest you've ever gone. Okay.
Very funny. Well, the whole room really stunk. It was people were complaining and blah blah blah, and it was really embarrassing. And when I took her in to see the vet, she didn't have fleas. She was really scratching because she was allergic to this stuff called Shake and Vac that I used to put into the carpets. And he asked me about it, and I said, "Yeah, I do use that." And he said, "Oh, that's why she's scratching." And I said, "And the other thing is, she eats her own poo." And he said, what you need to do is, because of the food he asked me what food I was using, and I told him what it was, and he said it's far too rich. You've got to get really cheap, quite nasty food and thin it out with rice and stuff. And she won't do that anymore because apparently Alsatians, their digestive system is so fast it comes out almost the same as it went in. So yeah.
Mum, that is so disgusting.
I can't put that in a fucking podcast.
I remember going to Aunt Linda's house years ago, and there was a party, and everyone was having a drink and all that and having a laugh. And I remember sitting on the stairs stroking her dog and thinking, oh, that's a nice dog, blah, blah. Well, the next day I was talking about the dog, and they were like, that dog died like years ago. So fuck knows what I was stroking, but it was like a ghost dog.
Wow.
That was Charlie.
Ain't that mad?
Chilling. That's chilling.
You were stroking Auntie Linda's Charlie.
Yeah, it was Charlie. Yeah, you're disgusting.
Stephen, I was going to say earlier, I remember that you had a lizard that sadly died, but did you used to feed it crickets?
Yeah, we used to get fed like little crickets.
I just remember once that you went to feed your lizard. That's not a euphemism, but you went to feed your lizard once with some live crickets, and there was like a box of live crickets that you had, and I thought it would be a great idea, because you were just in your pants at the time. I thought it would be a great idea to see how many objects I could fit inside the back of your pants as you were doing this. And so I was picking loads of stuff from your room. I don't know, a book, a DVD, a water bottle, anything I could find, a dildo, anything I could find, I was stuffing into your pants. And then you got so shocked that you dropped this box of live crickets, and they all ended up pouncing around your room for the next month. Just randomly, you'd wake up and there would be a cricket on you.
Yeah,
so
I remember that. We used to wake up all the time. I'd wake up with crickets on my nose.
Yeah,
they used to get in my bed.
You still find it.
It's still finding them now. So yeah, I just want to officially apologise for that. And I've grown up a lot since then. So my bad.
No worries.
No, you.
We were just about to leave the house, and this was quite a few years ago. We were quite young, and Mum had just shaved all of Bill's hair off. He had got like really, really small hair. There was like nothing left on it. And we had the cat at the time, and it was just after she got her leg bitten off by a fox. So she was pretty pissed off anyway. But she was sat on the bin, and we were just about to leave the house. And Bill, with his freshly shaven head, walked out the door, and the cat jumped and attached itself to Bill's head with the claws. Literally, and Bill was running around. Mum was trying to pull the cat off his head, and yeah.
What? Why? I've got so many questions about that.
I kept chickens at one point, and one evening I used to go and shush them into the little chicken shed thing every night. And one evening I went to do that, and there was one missing, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And when I walked into the shed, we used to keep the animal feed and stuff in these big old-fashioned like plastic sweet jars. And Billy had gone and stuffed one into a sweet jar, and it was stuck in there with its wings by its side, sort of going. Chip. And it was fine anyway. We got it out, but that was I do remember a chicken going missing, and Billy had stuffed it into a sweet jar. Oh, Billy, I tell you what else I remember you doing. I remember we had tadpoles on the window ledge in the kitchen, and they were in a bowl, and you used to sit on the work surface in the mornings on the sort of draining board, and I was getting on with stuff, so I could keep an eye on you. And anyway, these tadpoles kept going missing, and I kept thinking, oh my God, they're turning into frogs and jumping out in the night without me noticing them. And then one day I walked into the kitchen, I put you on a draining board, and I said to you, oh, Billy, look at the tadpoles. We've only got a couple left. And you actually rubbed your stomach and said, and you'd been eating them every time I turned around. He'd been eating them, yeah. And that yeah.
I didn't know this.
Did you not? Oh,
No.
it was horrible. Yeah. Not good. Yeah. Do you not remember that, Billy? Oh, yeah. Well, you were only tiny, but.
I was swallowing sperm back then.
Thank you for the stories this week. Does everyone want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Debbie and her children talking shite.